Test, test. Raz, dwa, trzy, raz, dwa, trzy. A myślę, że jest w porządku. A teraz? No, bo dam tak około 10.
Good luck and
Welcome,
have
Commander.
fun. You're gonna need
Each wave will be challenging to overcome with the forces available. Directly controlling the actions of your units will give you the edge you need to prevail. Good luck.
This better be. This better be good. It's been waiting.
Nicely done, Commander.
Sure. And more. This better be. You gonna give me orders? Been waiting. Been waiting. This better be armed and ready. Bring it. Roger that. Right on.
Now what?
I'm on it. Been waiting. This better be piece of battle. Want some? Orders? Been waiting. This better be piece of battle.
Waiting on you.
Want some? Orders received. That's fine. Give me some. Can't wait. And more. You got it.
Ready to pick up?
Armed and ready. You gonna give me orders? This better be right enough. Armed and ready. been waiting. This been. What's it worth? Oh yeah, baby. Done. Fair enough. All right, agreed. On the way. Yes, indeed.
All day long. Absolutely. Pedal to the metal. Burn rubber. Hell yeah. I'm going in. Smoke it.
Fear the Reaper, man. Let's nothing I can't handle. Oh yeah, baby. I'm going. I'm going. Done. Certainly. On the way. That's all right. Yes, indeed. Fair enough. I love it when I'm playing together. Agreed. Do this. Nothing I can't handle. Death from above. Oh yeah, baby. That's all. Certainly. I'm going. Oh yeah, baby. Done. On the way. I'm listening. Fair enough. All right. Yes, indeed. That's all. I'm going. I'm going.
Loud and clear. Confirmed. Can do. Fine. Roger that. Weapons hot. I got this. Engaging. Right. Done and done.
This better been waiting. Father, this better. This better. I've been waiting. You've been waiting. This better be. Got something for me to kill. Agreed. Nothing I can't handle. I'm listening. On the way. Let's do this. I'm going. I'm going. Certainly. That's all. Yes, indeed. Yeah, baby. All right. Agreed. Yes, indeed. Done. Nothing I can't handle. I love it when a plan comes together.
Defeat.
What's it worth?
Stop.
Got something for me to kill. On the way, certainly. I'm going. Let's do this.
Defeat.
Hello everyone on the stream. I hope you enjoy the 5th edition of Trovo Weekly Cup. Today we have 2 ZVPs, which will be Trifax against Papi and Snogstar against Ziomek, also known as Adagramus, but it's a different story. As far as yes, it's best of 5, so best of 5, and spawning in the bottom right as a blue Zerg, it's Trifax. And his opponent, spawning in the upper left as a red Protoss, it's Papi. So 2 very strong players. I hope to see a strong gameplay and some interesting mind games, because that's what we came here for. For now, very typical stuff. Not much happening. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them on chat. I will answer them. For example, in such moment, I can easily answer your questions, because there isn't much of commentary. Of course, though, those are the very strong players. What else can I say about them? I don't know Papi as much as Trifax, or if I can say I know Trifax. I met him once, and that's all. And Papi, I'm not sure how he looks like. But as far as I remember, a very strong Protoss player, well known on the Polish scene. Definitely a tough opponent for Trifax, even though Trifax is also very well known for his strong ZVP, as he managed to take games of players like Blue, Or even Gerald as well. So definitely has the potential to beat his opponent. So first adept just now finished. The probe pool is very likely to escape. So for now we see next is third base from the Zerg. So economical gameplay from the two of the economical players. Pretty even in workers for now. So very standard. Even though Papi seems to have a few more, his decision is to go for robotics facility. At that point, he has Twilight Council, so a potential Archon drop. Or more likely something different, because he didn't take gases, so he won't have enough gas. And as far as you may remember, I'm not a strong Protoss player, and I don't have too much knowledge about build orders. So for now, I can't really say much about the effectiveness of players' decisions. So now four Stalkers and War Prism, interesting choice. As Stalkers don't do as well against a heavy link force. Let's follow the Prism and see how what just happened. I have no idea. All right, let's follow the Prism and see how well Papi manages to trade. We have a Spine Crawler, so very defensive decisions. For now, Papi trades quite well with this Prism, not losing any Stalkers at the moment. But just now, Stalkers begin falling. There aren't any links, but those Stalkers are pretty damn injured. Not much of a potential from them, but still, they have Blink, they have regenerated life, regenerated shields, I should have said. So they will be still quite effective. Those links trying to interrupt intercept those Stalkers, but they are very mobile with their Blink, and of course we have a War Prism, which is also a very useful unit. So for now, more Stalkers. So Papi plays a very interesting composition, which is very hard, maybe very hard for the Protosses of lower levels. Now the counter attack, and Papi doesn't seem to have anything here, so the Nexus might be cancelled at this point. I don't think he's able to save it. Of course he cancels it, so it's 100 mineral loss. And of course, as you guys know, it's a delay in probe production, so it's also a thing, and a delay in mining, as those bases are overloaded with probes. So of course, not a bad trade with those links. An interesting choice. He will go for some interesting strategy, which is blocking the ramp with force fields. But of course, Trifax has Ravagers, so he's likely to prevail. The thing is that there are quite a few force fields, so it's very hard for Trifax to engage. But he has the numbers, he has the powers, and he's crushing it. For now, the third base for the Protoss, the fourth base for the Zerg. Trifax has an advantage in army supply, but not as much in terms of resources. He didn't spend much more on his army, so Papi's army is still very strong, very hard to deal with, very effective. He's likely to take this base with what losses. So Trifax is struggling to deal with those mobile force, and at this point he's still struggling. More Stalkers are added in, and the Colossi. For now, just one Colossus, but there are more incoming. So a little bit of splash damage to deal with the links easier, more easily. Snakes are with some wise words of planning to avoid mirror matchups. So 69 drones, 60 probes, saturated 3 bases for the Protoss. So Protoss is now very likely to commit heavily into army production, but at this point he has a very strong army. Two Colossi. This Colossus could have been intercepted easily by the Zerg, but the two Colossi are actually heavy force, and 3 Colossi would be a devastating force. But there are only 2 Colossi. Extended thermal lens in development. So those beings are having hard time. Trifax looking for some counter pressure. Quite a few banelings, but without speed. So they are not as effective, not as deadly. There's a Stalker, there's a Defender on the wall, so those things won't do much damage. But still they managed to force Papi to retreat to his base. Which might be something Trifax wanted, but I don't think it's as bad for the Protoss. Protoss has a bigger army. Those Banes will be really hard for the Protoss to deal with if they connect well, because of those Stalkers that are actually taking some heavy damage. Even though Banelings, as far as I remember, have been nerfed lately, because they are less effective against armored units. So the force field are very well placed for now. Not many Banelings let in. So Trifax is not committing that much, but he's losing quite a few units. There are still many force fields. For now, Papi deals extremely well against those Banelings. Doesn't lose anything. The problem is he lost 20 probes to a Baneling drop, which I didn't show, unfortunately, because there was a big fight that actually absorbed my attention. So Trifax is massing those Banelings, massing those green guys, those green and explosive guys. 2 Colossi, very hard units to fight against. Quite a few Banelings connect, which is very nice. It's important to actually snipe this Prism, and Prism has been sniped by, but I think that there's a lot of units here for Puppy. Very crucial unit actually has gone down. I think Trifax might be able to clear this force, but it's still a... Actually, I wonder who benefited from it. It's hard to tell because Trifax has a better economy, much better economy. And it actually looks like he's favored with the trade. He has to watch out for those Blink Starkers, which are... Those things are actually doing some devastating damage against those Blink Starkers. They are getting less and less effective as the game proceeds. So Trifax is still committing to building a massive Zerling force to deal with those Stalkers effectively. Actually, those Stalkers rarely kill many Lings. Of course, those Lings are dying in numbers, but still, it's a very fortunate trait for Trifax. Okay, so we have those Lings looking for some possibilities. We don't find any. Those Stalkers might jump in, but I don't think. I feel like Happy might be overwhelmed. He's going for a quick kill, which I think is a very swift response. And a correct response to actually prevent further losses of those Stalkers. Actually, Disruptors, I mean, I feel like Happy is making it hard for himself with those compositions, very hard to control units, and these Lings are actually, they're gonna be deadly if they get too close. Actually, it's a +2 Lings, so actually a heavy damage output by those units. Oh, very nice snipe. 19 kills, but actually goes down. Happy has been overwhelmed. Back with our next game of this series, and in the bottom right, spawning as a blue Protoss, it's Puppy. And his opponent, currently up and up, spawning as a red Zerg, in the upper left corner, it's Trifax. So Trifax actually showed that he can definitely beat Puppy. Puppy actually chose a composition which was very rare, I think. At least in a very high level of play. Of course, he played it, I think, really well. But the composition that Trifax chose actually turned out to be much better. Actually, he managed it a lot better. Actually, those stalkers without the Colossi support were actually useless against Lynx. I read what you guys write here. I'm not an extremely talkative person, even though I'm doing commentary for quite a while. I don't have much to say against those players, but actually the previous game told us a bit about those about their styles. So Papi is unhappy with his previous performance. So he's likely to choose a different composition, which I hope. Like Blink's massive amounts of Blink Stalkers against Musklings, it's not a thing you see too often. So Papi is annoying Trifax with this blockade. Doesn't allow his opponent to take a quick third base, but I don't think it was a much of a block. It was a few seconds. So for now, very steady. Third base, a lot of drones in production. Second gateway, robotics facility, and now the Dark Shrine. So it will be a different from the previous game. Adding additional gateways, so it's actually the numbers start to grow. So Trifax for now making a good amount of drones and going for a Roach Warren. One gas mining for now. His opponent is building a second War Prism, and the first one has 2 adepts in it already. So it's actually interesting what Papi is doing, because he's building a second War Prism. Quite a few links, and now the four invisible men rushing through, not losing them. So very nice control by Papi, but by our Protoss Polish player. Oh, he jumps in. I think it's a big mistake losing 2 adepts for free. They actually didn't manage to shoot because they were trying to move. They were doing their orders to the end. They didn't care that they're gonna die. They were just thinking about the possibility of executing their orders. So now quite a few drones go down, which is probably not something Trifax wants at this point. And now those Archons actually go here. I don't think there is much of a response by Trifax. Actually, this Spore Crawler is nice. I feel like Trifax actually got lost in this pressure, because he didn't. He lost quite a few drones and then a hatchery. His main base. Very luckily for him that it's not a lair. That a lair is built in the natural. So immortals are being added, charges on the way. So probably looking forward to this Archon Immortal Zealot composition. 4 Archon drop. So Papi likes to stack those numbers. Not 2 but 4. So there are 3 Fax fans on the chat. I feel like most of the people on the chat are cheering for the Zerg. So we will see how well he manages against those 4 Archons, which for now keep on doing damage. And those roaches can hardly deal with them. Of course, it's a massive force, so they can take out and those Archons quickly. Of course, the Warp Prism are the target here. Definitely, if they die, basically Archons are half dead. As you guys saw, 1 Archon has been lost, but at a cost of economy advantage. Trifax will now have a very hard time dealing with this force. I don't think he can win this anymore with roaches. I don't think roaches are the answer here. I feel like some of you might be very sad after this fight. Not losing the prism. Not any of them. I mean, it's very important for Trifax to actually get rid of those mortals, but he doesn't have anything at the moment, and it will be a 1-1 score. Welcome back with a 3rd game of this series. And in the bottom right, Protoss, who currently managed to tie the series with his very strong push, it's Papi. And his opponent, Red Zerg, trying to win a game, who is favored by the chat, so nominated by the Trovo chat to win this game. Will he be the chosen one by the chat? We will see. It's Trifax. So looking at your predictions, so you favor Trifax, but nothing has been decided just yet. The best of 5 has just become best of 3. As Papi managed to tie the series. For now, both players build their expansions, develop their economies. I'm just saying stuff I normally say when nothing is happening. On the chat now, very silent for now. Quite a few things have been written, but nothing is added. Hello Rising Sun. Hello Tosadar. Hello Kashim. Hello Seraphit. Hello Osax Nimlov. Hello Cerber. Hello Seraphit. Hello Nazim. I'm just saying hellos so that you guys feel a connection with Caster and feel more comfortable on the stream. Simple trick. So Stargate and Papi diverses his build order for this game. Not robotics facility, not Twilight Council. He's not deciding on those tech structures. He decides for the third one. He hasn't tried in the previous 2 games. So now we will look how well he micros his flying guys. Hello Adagramus. So Adagramus will be next player after this series, the second semi-final. Three, or it might be 4. So 4 drones for 2 adepts. Take out your calculators and start counting if you want to know if it's the right call to make, or if it's an effective use of those 2 adepts. So looking for some more kills, but he's not finding any holes in Trifax's defense for now. We will see how well Trifax manages later in game. So shield battery, robotics facility, something we saw, and Templar archives. So maybe some stormy weather isn't coming. Hello Sushi. So potential, yeah, third base for the Protoss. Trifax decided to take up in his by developing a lair. Has a Roach Warren, of course. For now, building quite a few more drones. And this Oracle is looking for some damage, but it's actually a lost Oracle. Very unfortunate. And 2 Adepts. For now, Puppy is not finding any effective trades. And those 2 Archons, how well will he be prepared for this danger? Trifax actually is doing a very nice counter pressure, but he's gonna be stopped by this force and this War Prism. Trifax hasn't reacted to it just yet. Now he's preventing the losses from the Archon drop. Quite a few Zealots appear. Sentries. Very strong in the first game, but didn't give Papi victory. So as you guys see, Trifax is not stopping with his composition, and now he's going for a sneaky unit, for a free unit creator. Probably most hated unit by the Protoss players. I suppose that's my guess. But not a very, but a rather rare unit to use. So probably not the most hated, but if it's used, I feel like it can be really dangerous for Protoss. So Papi is decided to move out with his forces. Actually, he's looking for the Niduses, and the Nidus is located here. I wonder if Papi, yeah, Papi actually saw this Nidus, but maybe he didn't react on time. No, I think it might have been the wrong decision to make by Trifax, because he's destroying just one warp gate, and he could have attacked this base, destroy this base, and potentially kill a few probes, which would have been bigger damage for him, or actually tougher for his opponent. A lot of Niduses are appearing, but for now they are consistently cleared. Nice position with this Overseer, with a place for potential Niduses, but for now it's a very important fight. Trifax is stepping too much on those storms. I feel like he's losing too many units. I feel like it wasn't a fortunate trade for Trifax. He looks well in supply, but the Protoss has the composition. So I think that the supply doesn't tell anything here. Those Niduses are actually ineffective. Quite useless at this point. So he has 7 swarm hosts still in this Nidus. I feel like he should have looked for some economical damage before actually trying to fight the main army. I feel like Papi might have the composition he needs to easily beat Trifac's army. But still, swarm posts are a real threat here. Four swarm posts. And the splash damage for Protoss is actually devastating. And Protoss is starting to feel more and more comfortable. The Hydras are the response, are the plan for Trifax to actually change the tides, to turn the tides in his favor, which I feel like will be hard for him. The carriers are arriving, or will arrive in quite a few moments. For now they are not too close to arriving, but there are 3 carriers at a time, which is a good number. So this Void Ray actually doing some good work here. And the Lurker then, an interesting choice. Looks like Trifax will try to change his composition. There isn't any defense here by Papi against those guys, but actually Papi, the Trifax decided to go for the main army, not for the probes. I don't think there is anything popping out of this war. There are some drops by Papi, actually stealing Trifax's attention and managing to kill those queens. Quite a few drones. Looks like Papi is looking for a move out, or actually will. I feel like Papi is gathering his forces, but he's just now having a limit. And I wonder if he will try to take the initiative, or he will be the defender until the Zerg loses enough so he can utilize his composition. It's very hard for Trifax because it has to be, the position will be the important value here, definitely. For now, Papi is rolling over Trifax bases, not much resistance. This base has been taken out with ease. Those 2 Void Rays actually interesting choice. Quite a few Zealots were running across the map, but didn't find too much damage. So Papi is actually deciding to cross this dangerous position for him. I feel like it's a wrong choice to make, even though he takes out this expansion. I feel like it wasn't a right trade. And now quite a few Zealots. I don't think the Hydras are enough, even though it's a very effective position for a non-melee units against melee units. So he might look for a snipe of this base. Unfortunately for him, he's stuck on 3 bases and Protoss is on 4 bases, which you can guys easily predict what's gonna happen. Either Zerg has less bases than his opponent. He's actually mining much less than his opponent. And his opponent is rebuilding on a very supply effective units. So it's gonna be harder and harder for Trifax to actually fight this. And the Dark Templars with Blink on the way Looks like Trifax is closed on these 3 bases. Contain, I could have said. And the Puppy is taking a 5th base. It looks terrible for Trifax, what can I say? I think that all of Trifax fans are actually quite sad right now. Actually getting sadder and sadder as the time proceeds. Protoss actually doesn't have an opponent to fight, so he decides to take out those rocks. He has quite a few carriers. And still Trifax is setting up a very heavy defensive position. A lot of spores. But here might be the weak point of Trifax. It's actually not a weak point, but it's much weaker than the main point of this 4th base. And it looks like Puppy will just roll over Zerg. Looks like Zerg will be devastated in just a moment. There is nothing to defend from his side. Those locusts won't help against this heavy Viper, this heavy carrier composition. Vipers are actually throwing some parasitic bombs, but it's not close. It's not close. 2-1 for Puppy for now. Back to our best of 5, and this guy currently leading 2-1 in maps is Blue Protoss Puppy, and his opponent spawning in the opposite corner. It's a Zerg trying to win those games, but the two last games actually went not in his favor at all. Will he prevail his opponent? It's Trifax. So it's actually a comment from Puppy that his race is so hard. that he actually went to bathroom in the middle of the game because his carriers did the rest. He just A moved his units and he didn't need to do anything more. So I see you guys casting some spells. I might cast a spell as well to use those points. And we have a spawning pool. Very interesting structure. As for now, I don't have anything wise to say. I feel like I'm just gonna trash talk for a moment. So assimilator hatchery is just now finishing. Refax sees the expansion, sees the cybernetics core. But I don't think he's much of a surprise. As it is pretty standard. Stalker is chrono boosted, so the Overlord needs to get out of here as soon as possible. Okay, what was that? I thought I had for a microphone problem for a moment, but I think it's fine. So it looks like Overlord will be taken out, and the Lynx actually won't manage to catch this Stalker. He might look for his run, but there is an Adept, and Trifax is just now retreating as he sees the superior force over his army. So resonating glaives, I don't think we saw those upgrades in today's games. So Puppy is actually doing different stuff. Which is nice for the viewership. Gases aren't saturated just yet. Four gateways, War Prism. This crucial upgrade, which is just now being chrono boosted. So Puppy will strike as soon as he's able to with those very powerful adepts. And now now it's crucial to look at the defense of Trifax. How well he trades, how many drones he loses. Now 4 more adepts are jumping to action. Trifax looking to intercept those adepts, but it's actually a nice position for Puppy at the moment. He's catching drones for now. War Prism comes into play. And now those adepts will attack the third base drones. There isn't anything mining just now. There are quite a few roaches being built. More adepts are rushing to Trifax base, looking for some drone kills, but it looks like Puppy will go for a rather safe decisions. But he's actually committing more to doing some economic damage. We'll see if he manages to actually succeed. For now he's fighting queens, but it actually when you look at the numbers, it's actually very nice for Puppy economically. He's killing additional drones. He's target firing those drones, and now the Dark Templars, which I totally didn't see because I was so busy talking that I actually didn't mention them. And now Trifax is in a devastating spot. Will this be it? Will Peppy defeat our IndyK Crew powerful Zerg? Now the links are actually links for the win. But not too far with this. Papi has the bigger guns in his army. So now he's very safe. He has an economic lead. So I think he's in a very comfortable spot. And now Trifax is rebuilding his main base. Okay. So for now, game looks steady as it was in the beginning, because both players are actually building their economies. But it looks like the problem is that Papi actually is building the superior army composition, so the Zerg won't have any chances actually in the fighting in a similar position. He needs to have much more units than his opponent to actually prevail in the attack of Protoss. Massive immortal force. I don't think Trifax has much of an answer to it, rather than having more units, of course. Roach speed, evolution chamber, and spine crawler, but I don't know why this interface isn't working for me. Spine crawler in the front of the natural expansion. Okay. And now this is actually a force that doesn't look that powerful at the first sight, but it's actually a Trifax. Trifax will have a hard time dealing with it, a real hard time. And actually, Papi stays with his two immortals at home. It's actually not something I suppose I should see here, because it looks like Papi is looking for game-ending push, but he's not using his two crucial units. I feel like he might have done it with those forces, but he's not committing to his attack. He's taking a 4th base, and Trifax doesn't have a 4th base. So it actually starts to look worse and worse for the Zerg. It looks like Zerg is looking for some damage. Will he find the damage? The Protoss army is just here, so we are looking. Actually, Trifax can manage to. He doesn't manage to deny the expansion. So it's actually quite bad for. It actually gets worse for the Zerg. He's building a fourth expansion, but there's a storm. A lot of energy on those high Templars. The 4th base is operating. On the numbers, it doesn't look as bad for Trifax, but he's gonna mine out his natural base, or his natural expansion, not natural base, and he's gonna have very little money in just a moment. He actually has a lot of drones, so he's actually done a great job economically. Psionic Storm just now finished, adding a bit of comfortability to Papi's perspective. The Spine Crawler, I don't think it's gonna matter too much, but we can believe in him. definitely a tough force to deal with as a Zerg. He's just now building 5 lurkers, but it's too late. It's too late to apologize. Too late to make those lurkers. But actually, Papi thinks there already are lurkers, so he's not committing too fast. And now the lurkers are, but still looks like he can easily fight those lurkers. He has the observer, and it looks like 3-1 for Papi, and Papi will be our first grand finalist. Unfortunately for Trifax, he will have to train more. He will have to practice his micro, his macro, and more laughing. It's also healthy for him, so both players are balance winning, but the one of the players is actually winning, so probably so now Papi is actually turning his sarcasm into real words as he succeeds over his opponent. And GG, and we have our first grand finalist, and we'll return shortly with our second semi-final. We are back with another best of 5, and spawning in the upper left as a red Zerg with a Nova call. It's of course Snogstar. And his opponent cross spawning I'm sorry, in the bottom right corner it's a blue Protoss Ziomek. So it's like he's a nice guy in Polish, definitely. Looking what you guys write here, so najlepszy gracz Korde is song requesting, but I don't think he can actually send me YouTube because I have it on a different computer, as I don't have two monitors currently, and I cannot really copy and actually play this song request. So for now it will be not a good option for you to send me song requests. So just as in the previous series, we have a ZVP, two probably of the same caliber players. But we will see what the result will be. As I remember, in the previous match, Papi was the favorite. Of course, Trifax was someone that chat was cheering for. So he was actually the favorite of Trovo chat. But now, who you guys vote for? Who you guys want to succeed and want to face Papi in the final? Do you want a ZVP or do you prefer a PvP, which is currently the best matchup in the game by far? Indie StarCraft approved. So definitely worth checking. So we have two imbalanced races facing against each other, and actually it's actually balanced. So it's actually you have, if you know some what is it called in Polish or in English? Uh, if you take some, oh boy. All right, forget it. I'm not gonna explain math here. Uh, we have a void ray on the way. You're very likely to get rid of this overlord, providing vision. So okay, I don't understand what you asked me. My my improvisation skills when I left the mouse in one position and actually moved to the bottom of the map and then actually trying to look like it was planned. A few links running across the map, trying to deny the expansion for Ziomek, for our dear friend. The pilot not cancelled, so a few minerals have been lost. Interesting place for an overlord. Sneaky place. We have an oracle rushing to the main, which is just now morphing to lair. Spore crawler, nice positioned. I'm sorry for my tongue twisting today. I hope you're enjoying anyways. All of the 23 viewers. I hope you have a great day. This October sunny evening. It's actually rather a night. This oracle is fairly escaping. Now, of course, Yomak is saturated his third expansion. This Void Ray actually killed 7 guys, so he's actually quite heavy on kills. So Christianer is actually also on the stream. So for now both players are scouting for information. No, it won't be intercepted, unfortunately for Snogstar and fortunately for Ziomek. So Hydras are actually the choice of Snogstar. So they're definitely a powerful unit. So this Oracle is barely escaping Hydra's fire. Oh, and this is actually a mistake by Ziomek, losing 2 units for free. Changeling is evaporated quickly. looks like Snogstar is actually going for an interesting composition, which is a Link Bane Hydra. Just a powerful composition. I don't think that the Immortals are actually a good choice against those. So most of Jomek's army will be very ineffective. But also quite a few force fields, Zealots and Archons. But the Hydras are actually deadly, can be very deadly. The Links rushing, the Banes are actually connecting quite well against those units. Oh, it's actually devastating damage by Snogstar. Snogstar is actually rolling over his opponent, crashing into the ground. Very tough. Very strong attack by Snogstar, I have to say. I have to admit that he chose correct composition. His opponent is actually building quite a few Zealots, which are really effective against those Hydras, but in smaller numbers they are usually not the best option. So now the Zerg actually sends his reinforcements, and it looks like Jomek will be overwhelmed in just a few moments. So the game turned out to be a very quick game. Jomek is fighting for you guys. So the game. Okay, so now it's 1-0 for our Zerg player. Welcome back to our best of 5, and this Zerg, this red Zerg, who is of course Snogstar, managed to beat his opponent in the first map, in the first game on the first map, and his opponent is of course Blue Protoss, Jomek, with some cardboard decals. Mordrago is casting Stay Safe. Thank you guys for using your points, so we can actually. It's actually funny when I say when I talk in English to all the Polish people, but of course there might be also they might also be some foreigners. Who want to see those great players play against each other. So we will try to reveal the opponent of Papi, which will be either Snogstar or Jomek. But for now, Snogstar in the first game is pretending to be the decisive winner of this series. we will see how well Ziomek will play on the second map, because on the first map Snoxar actually destroyed them in this 9.5 minute game. So we are looking for some heavier resistance from Protoss player in this game. I wonder if Ziomek's, if Protoss name can be translated to a good fella. I wonder if that would be the nice translation. I think it might be. I think it actually might be the correct translation. So now those links are just now looking for some scouting information, and actually Snoxar should be able to see that there is a Void Ray in production. Adept dealing some damage and just now escaping. It's actually interesting that Ziomek lost 5 probes to 2 links, and now it looks like he might lose an adept, and just now he loses it. Does he have enough to prevail against those links? There are not as many links, and there's the battery, so he's safe just now. But of course, there might be more links in production. There might be heavier army on the way. It's actually interesting with those overlords in such places. He's probably looking for some war prism that might try to sneak by the side. So of course an oracle by Ziomek, but by our fellow friend, looking for some damage, and he finds three drones as a gift. But he actually loses his oracle, so he actually gifted more to his opponent. Snoxar has way more workers. He's investing more in army just now. He's looking for a speed to maximize his damage output. But it actually looked astonishingly ineffective for him. He killed one adept for quite a few links. He just now droned up, so he's economically in a nice spot. It's actually interesting that our fella does those immortals, which are actually not at all the response for Hydras and Banes, which is also the second game option, the second game decision by Snoxar. Is actually an option that Snoxar chose for this second game, as he's not changing the winning strategy, the strategy that won him the first game. He's not doing changes in composition, it looks like. Upgrading Hydras, building Hydras. So it's actually, as you guys can see, those are all the units that are actually useless against Hydras, which is an Immortal and a Void Ray, and an Oracle. Oracle usually in small numbers they are pretty ineffective, so it's not something you look forward to investing in. More gateways. And those immortals, I wonder why why Jomek is investing in such units. I think it's a really bad call by Jomek to make those immortals. Of course, they are heavy in health and and they are usually they have many usabilities in the game. But of course, against massive amounts of Hydras, they're really not something you want to be building. You guys can see as those oracles are actually having a hard time against those Hydras, and actually one of them is intercepted. It's actually was quite easy for Snogstar to intercept this oracle, as you guys see how this unit is not really something you want to be building. I wonder if Jomek shouldn't actually build a fourth base, or actually he's just now building a fourth base, as he's oversaturated on his third expansion, building. He's not building props, he's actually building 3 carriers at a time. Which I wonder if it will prove to be a correct decision against this high Hydra heavy army. But as you guys can see, Snogstar is just now moving across the map. He's in his opponent's face, and his opponent has 3 immortals. Just now morphing his Archon. It's mostly those Zealots. But for now, he's losing interceptors. It's important to actually stack them well. But now he doesn't have any interceptors. It actually looks like it starts to look terrible, but actually he manages to clear Snogstar's army. Oh boy, he's doing it. Actually, Snogstar is retreating to his base, but very nice hold by Jomek. I really didn't believe in him. I didn't really think he may hold against this army, but he actually managed to do it. More Archons, so he's actually switching to a more effective composition against his opponent. And Spire on the way. So we have a bunch of Banes. Of course, a nice position by Geomex, so it will be hard to actually attack those units, but actually Snogstar manages to run past those guys. Very nice split, actually minimizing the damage by those Banes. 11 Corruptors, so a heavy Air Force. So you can say a Royal Air Force. But actually Corruptors are actually corrupt, so probably not a favorable name. And now the Ziomek heavy guns are walking across the map. And Snogstar is taking his drones to actually tank some damage. I feel like Ziomek might have made it, because his opponent is so desperate, and Ziomek is actually making it. He's tying the series. Congratulations for this great player. So in this best of 5, this is Red Zerg, who won the first map but didn't actually manage to secure a second map. It's Noxstar. And his opponent, cross-spawning, a guy who actually managed to show us that he's not someone to be beaten, but of course a man to beat as well. It's a Blue Protoss Ziomek. So an Overlord flying across the map. Not much happening for now. Best player ever is cheering for his guys. Christianer asking some serious questions to be answered. What do you guys have to say to me? Stay safe, guys. Stay safe, because the game is just now starting. The hatchery is going to finish soon. Nexus is going to finish a bit later. So Snogstar in the previous game actually got beaten by our Blue Protoss, who's opening with Stargate, just as he did on the first map. So he's actually quite good with these flying units, with flying fellas. Aristory is sharing his thoughts on Protoss players, and especially on the blue guy who is actually playing right now. This adept should be quite safe. Changing positions with Stalker, healthier unit. So for now Protoss is stabilizing, adding shield battery if there are more links to come. So investing in spore crawlers, as he knows his opponent chose Stargate as an opener. Probably a fourth expansion, third expansion I should have said, for our blue player. Third expansion already mining for our red player. Game is actually developing at the moment, so not too much happening. Of course, this laser guy slicing some overlords for breakfast. Robotics facility, additional gateways and charge. He's looking for some zealots play. And building immortals. As he might be preparing for some roach heavy composition. He's actually managing to snipe additional overlords, which is interesting. He sees Roach Warren, so it's actually something. As you guys see on the production tab, there is a Nidus swarm, Nidus network. Uh, I should have said farm of worms, and of course an infestation pit to spawn those guys, those heavy, those big brainers. A few drones have been killed, and now he saw the Nidus, so he's very likely to know what's gonna happen. So he should be able to predict his opponent's move. He saw the Nidus, so he's repositioning now. But there are locusts flying to his third base, so he's decided to evacuate his expansion. He's gathering force, and those locusts are actually unable to do damage. Very nice Guardian Shield to prevent damage. And of course, this swarm has been cleared. This Nidus is popping out. And he's just now puking those swarm hosts. Another Nidus, so quite a few Niduses. Fourth expansion for Snogstar, of course. So he's developing in economy. Oh, very nice decision to put a trap there. So most of those locusts are actually. The thing is that trap actually deactivates those locusts, actually makes them unable to shoot, but the timer on them is actually still running. It's actually going. So those locusts might just die doing nothing. Okay, so quite a few locusts. Very heavy force, but for now it looks like a Protoss player is trading quite well. But those sentries are actually important units to not lose. Ziomek for now doing great job with clearing those Nidus. Actually, he didn't see this Nidus. Which Snogstar will definitely use his potential of this attack. Ziomek doesn't have full information about his opponent, and just now the Locusts are jumping to his third base, sniping the battery, but Ziomek trades really well with his Blink Stalkers. And now the main force of Snogstar that he managed to build with his economy, this roach heavy composition. But for now the Immortals are actually proved to be the right decision. Will this Colossus be taken out? Snogstar is rushing to his opponent. This Void Ray is actually very heavy because he's doing real lot. It has 10 health. It has 10 health, so it's actually really nice for Ziomek to keep this Void Ray alive. And it looks like Ziomek might be doing it. Clearing his opponent's force with quite easily. I mean, both players actually exchange, so it's not really bad or good for any of the players, but looks like Ziomek played much more effectively. Stockstar rebuilding his firepower, so definitely he's still investing in army supply. Interesting Nidus Swarm, using those Locust vision. Very nice traps by Ziomek, actually preventing those waves from dealing damage. I wonder how well Ziomek is prepared for this. I don't think Snogstar wants to jump in with an injured Nidus. Yeah, Ziomek with a reaction, so he's not gonna lose his Void Ray just now. And now Ziomek will try to fight this army. He's jumping with Blink, which is probably not the best option. Not the right decision. But he's actually managing to kill quite a few roaches. So it actually looks like he traded quite well. He's building a composition. As you guys see, he spent much more on our army. It's actually interesting that Snogstar is ahead in army supply, but when you look at the numbers of the spending, Ziomek is quite heavily ahead. Swamp hosts denying actually killing the Nexus. It's actually 400 minerals. And of course the denied mining and crop production. Oh, a very nice usage of this wave. But still the Colossi does quite a lot. So actually Ziomek lost his Colossi. So he actually might be. So will Snogstar be able to actually turn this game around? He's facing mostly Stalkers. If he's able to kill this Colossus, he's actually in a great spot. And it looks like he might be able to catch this Colossus, because his opponent has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Looks like Snogstar is actually ravaging his opponent, but the Colossi is still doing some job. Doing his job quite well, serving Ire with 22 kills. So this base is endangered, and this Void Ray is just going down. So it looks like so actually Ziomek lost his Void Rays, and now Snogstar, I don't think it's something Snogstar wants. I don't think Snogstar wants to attack here. Now the Greater Spire morphing. But it definitely looks like a Snogstar's game. But he doesn't want to commit. He's gathering so much gas. He's going to have such a gas heavy army, or such a useful army with those gas units. Looks like Ziomek is fighting for life, and he's not managing to. He's not going to succeed, and it's going to be 2-1 for Snogstar. So here on Defora, we have the two players, and first one is actually someone who is up and up, who is not letting his opponent tie a series. It's of course Snogstar. And his opponent, who will try to tie up the series once more, is Blue Protoss player Ziomek. Of course, Snogstar is playing for Team MyFix, and Ziomek is playing for Team Blazer. I didn't introduce teams, which is probably a which is a caster mistake, but I hope you recognize the players anyways. So Snogstar blocks his opponents. So he does something that is very interesting. He manages to delay his opponent's base, but it doesn't look like his opponent is quite steady at this point. So it doesn't look like much of a threat. What do you guys have to say to me? I see some nets on those eggs. Not sure if something like this is visible on the stream. I just wanted to check what it is. So the first adept is just now looking for some damage, but he's gonna retreat for now. The one link is just turning to some phlegmatic substance and just disappearing. It looked like a donut that has exploded. Interesting. Third base for Zerg. Protoss decides for Twilight Council, and of course Stargate. Stargate, which was quicker, and now he's able to kill a bunch of overlords. There aren't too many on the map for Snogstar, so he's not gonna lose too much with this maneuver. Charge on the way. Robotics facility. So all the tech structures for our fella, for our good fella. But now the links are actually biting these Protoss third base structures. But of course the Voider is here to rescue. Now there are some more links. So Snogstar is not committing too much to attacking. his opponent, but for now he's just losing links. Probably it's not something he wants to be doing. Probably not too expensive units for Snogstar, but definitely not the traits he's looking for. Templar Archives and a War Prism. So we have quite a few gateways. Charge is close to finishing, so we might potentially see quite a few Zealots rushing Snogstar's base. It's actually interesting that this is a small blue dot on the map, and this is the bigger. That's interesting. Something I just wanted to point on in the middle of action. It's actually quite a few links, which find to be very effective, dealing quite a bit of damage, denying mining, killing probes. Very good call for Snogstar to send those links across the map. Actually manages to do a lot. The real thing is the main army of Ziomek, who is actually just now building more and more units. But it looks like Snogstar is defending quite well at the moment. And he's rushing across the map. We have three Archons. Very interesting choice by him to make. And now those Banings are actually jumping on those pylons, dealing disastrous damage. And this Void Ray is running out of steam, perishing into the void. And now we have the three light bulbs shining, evaporating Zerg forces in their sight. But Snogstar is actually committing to dealing damage in his opponent's main base. Now the War Prism will be sniped. I probably have missed a major fight here, which is I'm sorry about, because there was a major fight here with those Archons and of course Hydras, but I don't think that the Archons do well against Hydras if they're not close by. Snogstar with an advantage in workers, building 4th base, while his opponent is not even mining from his 3rd. Just now, but it's a long distance mining, not as effective. Interesting thing about those Hydras. AI. 21st century AI. Just presented. Very dangerous thing. So now we have Banings connecting with Protoss forces. It looks like Snogstar is overwhelming his opponent in this last game, and it might look like he's also dancing. He's taking storm on his face. He's just sitting in the storms. He's just dancing in storms. He's so sure of his victory, and his opponent is not letting it go. He's fighting till the last Protoss, and he's building a mothership core. Oh boy, what's happening here? GG's, and Snogstar is moving to Grand Final. So here we are with our final, which is of course the best of 7. And here, blue Protoss spawning in the upper right corner. It's Papi, playing 14 Blazer, and his opponent cross-spawning in the bottom left corner. Red Zerg, of course, it's Snogstar, playing 14 My Fixed. So we have our grand finalists. We don't have a mirror matchup, which is probably something people are happy about. But probably some people are unhappy with Papi beating Trifax or Snogstar beating Ziomek. So very steady for now, very standard. Okay, this, what else can I say about this game? Both players proved to be very tough in this particular matchup. So we will see if the Zerg player manages to beat his Protoss opponent or maybe Protoss player will prove to be much stronger. I feel like Papi might be slightly favored in statistics, but of course Snogstar, very strong player, has many strategies in his pockets. So he's a very dangerous opponent for Papi. He might even win the whole series. Now unsuccessful tries by Snogstar. This Overlord will be lost. So Papi is adding more gateways, charge on the way, and robotics facility just now finished. And War Prism is being produced. So I wonder what his plan will be. Definitely an experienced player, so what is his plan? It looks like a massive charge lot army. I wonder what Snogstar response is going to be. Let's see once more what Snogstar saw. Snogstar didn't saw too much. Probably saw that might have seen that Papi is not mining gas. Sees the full wall. Decides to go for cybernetic score. And now Papi will have to warp some units to defend his base. So those links are actually a very nice move. And now there will be a massive amount of zealots. in Snogstar's base. Now he takes his drones to actually trade more efficiently, or actually defend this attack. It's actually not an efficient trade, but by all means for Snogstar, losing quite a few drones. It's already a good damage for Papi. And now more Zealots are rushing in. Snogstar is building quite a few roaches, but of course the Zealots are being warped. I feel like Snogstar might be able to defend, but of course the damage has been dealt. But it's still, of course, the game is still going. The more Zealots are being added, and now the limit actually equalizes. So it might be for the Papi to actually break through his opponent. Charge blocks are very effective. Now the Papi is just swarming his opponent with Zealots, and it's enough to succeed. 1-0 for Papi. Welcome back for our second map of this best of 5, and spawning in the upper left, player who is currently leading in maps is Blue Protoss player Papi, and his opponent who lost the previous map, but who will definitely try to prove better in the upcoming games, it's Snogstar. So I see you guys talking about the Zerg, how powerful the race is. And maybe you are right. Both Protoss players talking how Zerg is strong. Z ilu gate'ów to było? Chyba z 8, no zwykle z 8 jest gate'ów, z 2 baz. Tak mi się wydaje, nie wiem jakby tam wydało. Okay, back to English casting. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Not much happening in the game. So in the previous game, actually, Papi managed to defeat his opponent without basic gas. So definitely a interesting strategy to beat this kind of player of this caliber. So Adagramus says it's actually the Adagramus's zealots that are actually so strong. That is the reason why Papi succeeded in the previous game. More links, and those links are actually being hidden in the corner. of course, a proxy Twilight. And Snogstar is massing those links. Speed is on the way. Quite a few links. And those links start doing some damage. Now they probably will manage to surround this adept. Now more links are rushing. Papi is desperately trying to wall in, but he doesn't have the firepower to stand against those links, and it's a 1-1 very quick game by Snogstar, proving us the power of his plays. I'm sorry for this falling. And now this player down one map. It's a blue Protoss player, Papi, and his opponent, Red Zerg, spawning in the opposite side, who's currently managed to, or actually the series I tied, I forgot. So Snogstar actually managed to tie the series with a very offensive, quick massive link attack, as you guys see, currently seeing, because it's a 2-minute delay. So all of you guys actually now just now are seeing this strong link heavy attack by Snogstar. Definitely a powerful strategy, and this is actually interesting that there is a forge on the way by Protoss, and it's going to be a cannon rush. Oh boy, that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want more and more. Definitely something we look forward to. Papi, very nice reaction time. Rolling off. No drones to interrupt. I wonder if he goes for a gateway or... Okay, he cancels those. He cancels one pylon. Okay, second pylon cancelled. So gateway on his side of the map. Definitely an interesting choice. Cancelling those cannons, of course, saving money. And now the thing is that there is an expansion for Snogstar. I wonder what Papi will try to do about it. He sees there is no expansion, no third expansion, no expansion on the third location here. So he knows that there is expansion, and he will try to deny it with, of course, some stuff. And he knows it looked like he's preparing. He's actually quite well prepared for this hatchery. He knows it's going to be built because Snogstar has the money to invest in such interesting strategy. Proxy hatchery in opponent's base. There isn't any vision, so Queen has actually a good time attacking this cannon. But of course the cannon doesn't need to. The cannon is mostly here to to prevent the second base. So one cannon finishes. Probably the second one is also, yeah, the second one is finishing as well. And Snogstar actually cancels this expansion and rebuilds it in the different location. Probably the third photon cannon wasn't required. But maybe if Snogstar will try to, Snogstar will go for a heavy counterattack, and there isn't anything for Puppy here to defend, so it might be the very strong play. So Puppy with some wise words, and Snogstar doesn't know there isn't anything. There isn't anything. There is just probe just now, but the Banes of course are the good option to destroy a potential wall in. So Snogstar is prepared for everything. And now he's running at his opponent. It looks like his opponent doesn't have anything to defend against this. And this might be 2-1 for Snogstar. Very quick games. And this might be it. This is looking like the end of Puppy. 2-1 for Snogstar. Very decisive games so far. Welcome back with our fourth game of this grand final on Submarine, of course. And this guy who we're looking at now, who's trying different stuff. He's sometimes succeeding, sometimes he doesn't. It's Puppy. And his opponent, who actually won two very quick games, who's speedrunning his opponent, it's Snogstar. Hidden drone, interesting stuff. So he's trying to lure his opponent into thinking that it's a potential all-in. He's actually seeing everything with this Overlord. But he's just now seeing the expansion, so he has the information. But of course the pull was quite quick. So the links will be popping out shortly. So in the previous two games, Papi actually didn't prevail his opponent's heavy assault. Actually, there weren't heavy assaults, but there were early assaults with massive amounts of Zerlings. And the Protoss doesn't have that many good units in the early game to defend against Lynx. So the probe died. Roaches. On 19 workers, there are roaches. I feel like Snogstar is actually speedrunning, trying to speedrun his opponent. Very interesting. But the two adepts are actually going to see the roaches. They're just now seeing the roaches. And now the puppy has to respond to those roaches. Stalker will pop out shortly. Will be able to defend shortly. This shield battery won't end up in time. There's a Void Ray chrono boosted, so probably he will be able to defend this attack. So shield battery is just now falling. Those roaches are actually trying to go for the main base. So he decides to kill the batteries, but he doesn't know that there is a Void Ray, and his time doing damage is really limited. Those adepts on the other side of the map are actually doing some serious damage at the time. He lost a lot of workers, so he's actually behind in workers. But of course he's looking for some damage. Still, he doesn't have speed links, so he's running slow links across the map. Let's go to very quick games for now. Come back to next game. It's currently 2-2. It's actually getting more exciting. They actually managed to turn this best of 7 into best of 3. So now it will be a best of 3 against those two players. So the last 3 games were very quick. I wonder what this game will be. So Snogstar actually tried different things. Quite a few different things. And some of them have worked actually. So he's going to keep trying. So yeah, so he's deciding once more for a few links to put some pressure early on. Papi should be able to see this in time with his probe, but he's not sure about the amount of links is coming his way. This time with speed, so those links may be very deadly indeed. Looks like Snogstar is looking for a third expansion, but he's just now retreating his probe, so it's going to be a link heavy attack. I feel like Snogstar is speedrunning, trying to speedrun his opponent. Very interesting strategy. So speed will finish in some time. Massive amounts of links arriving. The two adepts are actually quite a lot. It looks like Papi should be fine. But still, Snogstar is adding additional links. There's massive amounts of links in production. He's destroying those buildings. And the problem is for Papi is that this cybernetic score might be surrounded in some time. Now there's the Oracle. And Snogstar evacuates from the game. So it is best of 7 pillars of gold, and this guy actually leading by one map, who is probably very close to winning the whole thing. It's Papi, Blue Protoss player from Team Blazer, and his opponent, who's actually trying some sneaky stuff, but it stopped succeeding from some time. It's a red Zerg player, Snogstar. I actually asked Snogstar to actually play 100% now, so he's gonna crush Papi in this game because he actually was gathering his powers, and just now he's going to explode with super strong standard gameplay. So Papi was actually very strong in last two games, defending against Snogstar's heavy attacks. So this probe is trying to annoy Snogstar, but Snogstar is going strong. base is finishing for Snogstar. It's 2 links, so not a heavy commitment. So we might see a standard game now. So you will see a full Snogstar on full powers. Those links biting this probe, but they're not gonna succeed in killing it just now, as Adep is arriving to the battle. He's actually splitting his links, going for some scouting, third base, more drones, of course speed, more links, trying to catch some probes. He does manage to kill one probe, 50 minerals of them worth of damage, still something. That is something. That's exactly the cost of 2 links. Now the adept is dying. For now, very even in workers. So there isn't a heavy commitment into early powerful all-in from Snogstar. But really, it's 4th minute and the game hasn't ended just yet, so that's what I mean by not an early push. According to the previous games, it's actually quite a bit of time. 4 minutes, and it's Roach Warren, Lair, 3rd expansion, 2nd gas. So Snogstar is developing. His opponent is taking 4 gases, so it's not going to be massive Zealot. And of course, you guys see a Stargate, so defensive Stargate will prove to be not the case here. Robotics facility added just now. Definitely a choice powerful against Roach, against such attacks. I wonder if Papi decides to go. Yeah, just now Papi decides to. Will probably try to clear this link and go for a 3rd expansion, because I don't see many gateways. There are just 2 gateways, so it looks like the 4th expansion for Papi. He didn't know there is a link there, but the probe doesn't die, so it's fine for Papi. Oracle doesn't find damage. Just now 2 kills, but that's enough for now. The Void Ray is actually doing some more damage. Very interesting by Papi. Thanks for following our channel, Janusz. Okay, so those drones are actually grilled. I wonder if he sacrificed. I think he could have killed those four more drones, which would have been quite a bit of damage. He has an advantage in workers, so it looks like Snogstar is focusing on building army units, not workers. And Papi is investing in immortals, which are of course a heavy counter to roaches. In small numbers, of course. In big numbers, roaches can destroy everything in sight. Archon, 2 Archons, so there will be some potential target to hold some fire. Those immortals are pretty important here. The warp is support the rescue, is going to provide with some additional micro. This army is pretty heavy on in damage, and Snogstar is actually divided in half. This attack won't succeed just now. The charge is going to be finished in just a moment. More zealots, they're going to be very, very deadly against those roaches. They're going to be very hard for those roaches to engage in. Of course. And Snogstar with a commentary. Thanks to everyone who's watching. I think it's going to be all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.